Hello, my name's Ellie Mayhew from Freshwater Habitats Trust, and today I'm going to be telling you all about the Oxfordshire Fens project. First of all, what is an alkaline fen? Alkaline fen habitat is an internationally important habitat type, now largely confined to Anglesey, East Anglia and Oxfordshire. It is among the most biodiverse of all habitats, supporting rare and endangered wetland plants like butterwort and marsh helleborine, and endangered invertebrates including species of soldier fly, horsefly, damselfly and mollusk. Alkaline fen habitat is listed on Annex 1 of the EC Habitats Directive. Alkaline fens in Oxfordshire are fed by calcium-rich groundwater and have an alkaline pH of between 7.5 and 8.5. They are also tufa-forming. This is when calcium carbonate precipitates out of the spring water and is deposited on vegetation, creating a crunchy layer. Alkaline fens should also feature a short sward, as many fen specialist plant species are low growing. However, in the absence of grazing or suitable management, this may not be the case across all fens, as you will see shortly. A wonderful array of plant species can be found in alkaline fens, and these include hemp agrimony, common horsetail, ragged robin, pond sedge, devil's foot scabious, blunt-flowered rush, and fen bedstraw. Further plant species include bladderwort, which is a carnivorous plant that favours low nutrient environments, purple loosestrife, butterwort, which is another carnivorous plant, and early marsh orchid. Lastly, you can also find flea sedge, grass of Parnassus, which is an Arctic alpine species that's actually closely related to saxifrages, meadowsweet, marsh thistle, bog pimpernel, which is a creeping species that looks splendid when it flowers, and of course the stunning marsh helleborine. Alkaline fens also provide important habitat for bryophytes, such as the mosses Palustriella commutata and Campylum stellatum. However, despite their remarkable biodiversity, many of Oxfordshire's fens are now degraded and are losing species. Drainage has caused some fens to dry out, so they are no longer suitable for wetland plants and the associated invertebrates. A lack of suitable habitat management and loss of grazing has allowed many fens to become overrun with tall, rank vegetation and latterly scrub, which shades out the shorter fen wetland plant species. Good water quality must also be maintained for healthy fens. Many of the species found in alkaline fens thrive in low nutrient environments, and some are adapted for such conditions, for example butterwort, that traps insects on its sticky leaves which roll over to digest entrapped prey. However, alkaline fens have large groundwater catchment areas, so pollution is a threat to the biodiversity they support. As part of the Oxfordshire Fens project, we have been monitoring water quality with the test kit shown in the photograph to the right. These test for levels of available phosphate and nitrate, two widespread pollutants, and give a good indication of overall water quality. The Oxfordshire Fens project was set up in 2018 and is comprised of a committee working alongside Freshwater Habitats Trust and a group of dedicated volunteers who attend monthly work parties. The project is working to restore 5 fens across Oxfordshire, including Hinksey Heights Fen and 4 SSSI Fens. Here are some of our lovely volunteers working hard to help restore Hinksey Heights Fen. The restoration work began at Hinksey Heights Fen in 2018 and is funded by the Trust for Oxfordshire's Environment, or TOE. We are lucky to have a very dedicated group of volunteers who attend our monthly work parties, and funding from TOE has allowed us to hire a contractor to undertake further restoration work, which is largely comprised of vegetation management during the summer months and re-wetting. Baseline vegetation, invertebrate and water quality surveys have been undertaken so we can monitor restoration progress. We've also been able to run training courses in fen vegetation monitoring, fen plant identification and scything, which has helped to equip our volunteers with fen restoration and monitoring skills. One of the challenges of restoring Hinksey Heights Fen is the common reed that has spread across the site. During our monthly work parties, volunteers clear vegetation, especially reed, by scything and raking. Volunteers also collect and spread seed from important fen plant species like parsley water dropwort, St John's wort and Marsh Lousewort. Here you can see volunteers busy cutting and raking. And here you can see how much reed grows up in the summer and what a difference it makes when you cut it down again. These are some of the plant species we spread as seed during the October work party, along with Marsh Lousewort. The seed is collected before an area is scythed, and then it is scattered in suitable neighbouring parts of the fen to facilitate its spread. Usually, grazing stock would help to disperse seeds on their hooves, as well as munching on the vegetation and maintaining a nice short sward, but as the fen isn't grazed, we have to do this all by hand. On the left you can see Marsh Lousewort seed, and on the right you can see it in flower. Marsh Lousewort is a biennial that's listed on the Rare Plants Register. It is a hemiparasite, meaning it is only partially parasitic, as it still has green leaves and produces its own food too. Marsh Lousewort operates in a very similar way to yellow rattle, which is often used in wildflower meadow restoration. In fact, Marsh Lousewort is also known as red rattle. It taps into the roots of surrounding grasses, rushes and sedges, siphoning off water, sugars and other nutrients. The host plants are weakened and their growth is stunted. This helps to allow more light to reach the low-growing fen specialist species which struggle to compete against tall plants that shade them easily. Because of this, the Oxfordshire Fens project is experimenting with using Marsh Lousewort as an ecological engineer to help speed up fen restoration. As an added bonus, Marsh Lousewort is loved by bumblebees. Here you can see Marsh Lousewort in action. These photographs were taken at one of the 4 SSSI Fen sites. On the left-hand side, you can see Marsh Lousewort with its green frilly leaves. It's not yet in flower. On the right-hand side, you can see a barer patch in the middle of the photograph where Marsh Lousewort is growing and parasitizing the reed, thereby stunting its growth. Already we are observing really encouraging changes as a result of the restoration work. This area that was recently dominated by common reed now supports an array of different species, including parsley water dropwort, which is great for pollinators, St John's wort and Marsh Lousewort. New species are being recorded at the site all the time. At the work party in October, Greater Tussock sedge and the liverwort in the top left-hand corner, called common or star-headed liverwort, were added to the species list for the site. As work continues here at Hinksey Heights, we look forward to seeing how this alkaline fen evolves. Now on to the 4 SSSI Fens. The Oxfordshire Fens project was granted Water Environment Grant funding by Natural England in 2019 to expand the project across 4 new fen sites. The condition of all 4 SSSI Fens was classified as unfavourable. We planned to implement similar restoration techniques to these sites as have been used at Hinksey Heights. First of all, baseline vegetation, invertebrate and water quality surveys were undertaken at all 4 sites, and based on these survey results, restoration areas of around 1 hectare in size were identified at each site. Restoration work then began with tree felling, scrub clearance, vegetation management and re-wetting works a priority at present. Here you can see some of the tree felling work that has taken place, which allows more light to reach the ground flora. Re-wetting is an important part of fen restoration as it creates suitable ground conditions for wetland plant species. Also, certain invertebrate species, like some soldier flies, need little pools for their larvae to develop in. Re-wetting work usually involves damming drainage channels with logs or bunds. Contractors have undertaken brush cutting and raking to maintain a short sward, and Marsh Lousewort and parsley water dropwort seed has been sowed in the restoration areas at all 4 fens. Further invertebrate and vegetation surveys were conducted this summer to monitor changes. Contractors are continuing with restoration work across the 4 sites over the winter, and it's hoped the first stage of restoration will be completed by next spring. It's really important that these fen sites continue to be well managed and looked after to ensure alkaline fens and their spectacular biodiversity are conserved. Establishing grazing at some of the sites would be an excellent solution to long-term management, as stock help to maintain the short sward through grazing and trampling. Education and working with landowners is also
I'll slowly
key.
move myself round, took lots of pictures.
We are always happy to welcome new volunteers to our monthly work parties at Hinksey Heights Fen. They take place on the second Sunday of each month from 10 AM to 3 PM. Do please get in touch if you'd like more information, as we'd be really happy to have you along. Thank you very much for listening.